Pixelated Geek's recap of Bethesda's first ever E3 press conference. So long story short, that's how you do that.
Yep.
That's how you do that. It was their first press conference ever, and they knocked that shit out of the park. That was absolutely amazing. So, yeah, we may as well just go beginning to end. So first of all, Doom. Doom looks amazing. It's in the id Tech 6 engine. So the id Tech 6 engine is the successor to the id Tech 5 engine. So that contract that Bethesda had with id to make all of their games in the id Tech 5 engine obviously is no longer a thing since there's an id Tech 6 engine and no mention of a contract. That said, I think we're all super happy about it because that game looked amazing. That game looked...
It's already pre-building a computer in my head.
Yeah. So first and foremost, and we're going to talk about this repeatedly during it, but this demo is in-engine. And almost everything they showed tonight, with the exception of the stuff that we really don't care about, was in-engine. Again, that's how you do that. Don't show me a trailer. I don't want to see CGI.
Well, Dishonored was the trailer, but...
Huh?
Dishonored was the trailer.
Well, yeah, but
yeah,
we'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there. So when you show something that is pertinent, show how it's actually going to look, and they did, and that looks amazing. So first of all, they showed 3 different elements. They showed single player on Mars.
2 different maps.
They showed multiplayer, and then they showed single player in Hell. And so one of the things that we noticed when we were watching it, they were making a really big deal out of the speed of the game. And I wasn't totally sure where they were coming from for that. Like, I didn't understand why that was such a big deal. And then the gameplay spoke for itself. The game moves very quickly. There's a lot of like horizontal, lateral, vertical movement in the game. And it is very fast. And that's something, you know, we'll obviously get some gameplay examples up a little bit later, but it makes sense why they were harping on that. That's a big deal. It is a fast game. And that's something that, you mentioned this, that 3 was lacking. 3 was a little slow. 3 was a little plotty. It kind of felt more like a survival horror game than it did like 1 and 2.
Yeah, where 1 and 2 you could just blow through a map.
Yeah, and it looks like you can in this. Like, it looks like this is very much like a adrenaline-fueled rush experience.
And you said each map felt like an arena multiplayer map as well that they showed. It wasn't just like a corridor or a standard single player level. It was, you can, you know, go up here, go down there, move around to take everybody out.
Yeah.
And you're not just stuck in a hallway.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a hallway title, and that's something, again, that 3 sort of suffered from, which is that you had a hallway, and then you had a room with a monster closet, and then you had another hallway, and there was a room with a monster closet. This definitely felt a lot like the first couple of titles where you were just blowing through these like huge areas full of awful things. And I think 3 had this sort of slow, kind of sedate pace to the narrative because they introduced the UI elements where you were like dealing with logs and like listening to things, and it was, again, more of a horror title.
Yeah.
And this one definitely feels like it's just constant blowing shit up, which, yeah, because it's Doom.
No, well, not only blowing stuff up, but, you know, ripping somebody's leg off to kick
so,
them in their own face with it. So
melee attacks look absolutely out of this world. Rip a dude's arm off, beat him to death with it, make him kick himself in the face, knee him, break his, just the melee. Oh my god, the melee attacks. And what's amazing is that it's not just you. So there's at the end of the first gameplay sequence, there's one of the jetpack demons rips your left arm off, rips your right arm off, and then beats you to death with it. So
it's very Doom.
It is.
Like that. It really was just. It was kind of weird. I'm like, well, this is what Doom should be, of course. Like, okay.
Yeah. So, I watched that entire gameplay trailer, and the whole time I was just like, yeah, yep.
And vertical takedowns.
So one of the things that happens during the trailer, you jump off something and you land on top of something, and aerial assassination, and just there was nothing about that trailer that made me go, I'm not sure about this. Like, I just watched it and I was like, yep, and that's Doom. So, yes, and also, that's Doom.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, I'm trying to think... Oh, yes. So, the weapon UI. This is a thing that's been happening a lot in games lately. When you're switching weapons, when you're pulling out a secondary weapon, time slows down. And then you pick the weapon. And one of the cool things about it is it gives you a sense of urgency. So, it doesn't take you out of the game entirely because you have to pick it because time is still passing just slowly. So it gives you just enough time to do what you want to do. The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3 are really good examples of this. This game is, I'm trying to think of other ones. But so it's a new thing that developers are doing to allow you to have the ability to make a decision quickly, but then also not reduce the tension. And this is definitely a title that's interested in maintaining the through line of the action. And that's a great choice. So, Snap Map. Bethesda is deciding to do crazy things with community and that sort of thing. So, essentially what it looks like is Forge for Doom. So you have the ability to pick a room, plant it very quickly, fill it with things, and you can create single-player, co-op, multiplayer experiences. And it's all, from what I could see, it was cross-platform. You have the ability to share it.
I don't know.
It didn't look like it wasn't cross-plat.
They never said that directly.
It didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't see any reason. Yeah. I mean, that they created. They're creating a community for Doom players to create new content, share it, which is something that is very popular these days. There's a reason why Steamworks is
so popular.
Yeah, and so essentially, Mapmaker allows you to create single-player, co-op, multiplayer experiences. It looks cool. There wasn't a lot of detail on it, and so that's not something that
we can talk too much about because
I don't really have a strong opinion on it because it didn't really show much, but it looked cool. So second up was Dishonored 2, which was not a surprise, but the game looks awesome anyway. So what we saw there was a trailer. We didn't see any actual gameplay, and that's probably because the title is early on. We did see a really interesting CGI trailer. It featured Emily, who's the princess from the first game, being a badass. Yeah, being an absolute badass and just doing work. So they did announce shortly thereafter that the playable characters were Emily and Corvo, and that it took place in a kingdom a ways away from the first title, and it featured the stranger very heavily, and you could see some of Emily's powers. They were very smoke tentacly.
Yeah.
Smoke tentacly. Trademarked. But so, yeah, so she could reach forward and grab something and yank herself to it. She could pick someone up by it. She could manipulate the environment around her using smoke tentacles. I am pretty much sold sight unseen on this title because Dishonored was awesome and Arcane is awesome, and
they know how to mix combat and movement, and it's something a lot of studios can't do.
Yeah. So stealth titles traditionally suffer from being slow, and I think Dishonored did a really good job of creating a situation where there was a really nice balance of movement and stealth. And this trailer definitely indicated, that we're going to be seeing more of the same. Again, there's not a whole lot we can talk about. Playable female characters, yay! It was like a theme, and that's good. Yeah. I mean, it really is. We need to be in a situation where we can do that, and I love the idea that Corvo is returning. Probably going to play as Emily because she looked like a badass. She did. That game looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really say anything past that. Game looked cool. So Battlecry. I'm already bored. I don't really want to talk about Battlecry. So the game looks bad. It doesn't look good. The video from it looks bad. The concept is not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just, we already have TF2.
Yeah, and
that game's already. So there is a TF2. So I'm not really sure what adding a weird World War I kind of Victorian steampunk aesthetic to TF2 does. It doesn't help that, again, the gameplay looks awful. Every time you see the gameplay, it looks terrible. It just doesn't look ready. It doesn't look finished. Nothing about that trailer was compelling. That was the worst part of the show by a mile. And it was thankfully brief. Like, they showed like a 45-second, minute-and-a-half trailer and then got off the stage. And good, because they need to get out of the market.
But if you're interested, they do have a beta that you can sign up for. So,
which I guess we'll do. I guess we'll put ourselves through that, because you never know.
It could be good.
The gameplay could be incredibly compelling, if incredibly ugly. I don't. I'm not interested in it, but we'll put ourselves through it. Okay, so next they showed ESO. Speaking of things we're not terribly interested in. It's still happening. That's pretty much what that trailer was. They were like, we're making it still. Just in case you... Okay. You knew? Okay. Yeah. All right, we're going to go. No, so they've added zones, and one of the areas that they added was the Imperial City, the White Tower from Oblivion. And one of the reasons why I was interested in that game initially was because it gave you the opportunity to go to places in the Elder Scrolls universe, and that's like a really cool idea. This looks like a raid zone. It did not look like a happy place. But so you're essentially, there are new areas to go to if you're still playing that game. Or if you're one of those people that picked it up on PS4 or Xbox One recently. If you are, I'm sorry. There's nothing like really wrong with that game, but as MMOs go, it's just a little bland. I mean, like, the only reason I've seen to pick it up is because the Elder Scrolls universe is awesome, and any opportunity to explore the Elder Scrolls universe is appealing. They were just reminding us it exists. Speaking of the Elder Scrolls universe being appealing, they did announce... What was it? Was it a new Elder Scrolls game? It was! It was a new Elder Scrolls game. To a degree. It was. And you know what it was? It was a free-to-play collectible card game.
At least it wasn't a MOBA.
It wasn't a MOBA. It was not. It was a free-to-play collectible card game on PC and mobile, featuring the heroes of the Elder Scrolls universe, which, that's cool. All right, that's cool. I'm going to try it because it's free. It's on platforms I have access to. I'm going to try it. I bet it's compelling. I think Hearthstone is cool. I don't know why everybody has decided that they need to make free-to-play CCGs now. Digital CCGs. So the thing about a collectible card game is that at least you have these cards that you can collect, that you can point at. But digital CCGs, you're like, I have it on my computer. I own a card. I do. On that computer. Yeah. On a digital card. So, still, I mean, the gameplay could be interesting. We don't know because they showed us none of it, but still. Now, what they mentioned after that, in passing, incredibly briefly, could be a big deal. Yeah. It could be a big deal, or it could be a really big misstep. So it's called Bethesda Net, and it is a platform, a digital platform for delivering Bethesda titles.
And a community shared space and forum.
So it's Steam. It's Steam for Bethesda games. It is the origin of Bethesda games.
Which, I wonder if this is stemming out of the awkward relation with the paid mods.
I mean, it might be. It might well have something to do with that. It's funny, though, because, I mean, essentially what they did was, paid mods are really awkward. Hold on, here's Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. But, so, some of the best-selling games on Steam are Elder Scrolls titles. Yeah. Specifically. Like, is that franchise. And so it seems weird to me that they would do that. But then again, they are moving up in the hierarchy. Like, we're seeing an E3 conference from them. I'm not upset about the idea of having a separate platform for delivering not Elder Scrolls. I use those terms interchangeably, but like Bethesda titles. I'm not upset about the idea of that. I'm a little bit concerned about whether or not that's the only way you'll be able to get them. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that, I own some disc-based Bethesda titles. I own a lot of Bethesda titles on Steam. Are there going to be legacy issues? Or there going to be support issues? Do I have to buy them this way from this point forward? They just kind of mentioned it and then like let it hang and then moved on really quickly. So there are a lot of questions.
Or is it going to be like Uplay, where it's another thing you have to log into to then play the game you're already playing on another platform?
We're going to hope no, because I don't think that many crazy people work at Bethesda. We're going to hope that's not the case.
And is it also a way to go after like Nexus mods and things like that, where they have a little more control?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it ends up being a method for delivering not just their content, but community content.
There's already Steam Workshop for that.
Yeah, but there's too many questions about this. There are too many questions. There's not a lot to talk about, but the important thing is that raises questions, and they didn't go into that at all.
No, they didn't.
So that might be great. That might be incredibly problematic. We'll have to see.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will. So then they did a thing. They did a thing. And this is a good time to talk about this. So one of the things that plagues publishers at E3 is just wildly unpleasant, uncharismatic CEOs. So, I mean, obviously, Ubisoft has, like, the most recent transgressor with Mr. Caffeine. I actually had the bad luck to be present, like, physically present during Mr. Caffeine, and that was terrifying. And, you know, like, there haven't been a lot of shows recently where they've, like, absolutely killed it. Sony at last year's E3 just blew that shit out of the water, but that was the last time. Like, and before that, I'm having trouble naming a conference where that was really well done, but Pete Hines was just ideal. Like, he was super calm, he was super chill.
You could tell he was just happy to be there and have this space with his fans. Like,
right. Like,
it wasn't like the whole, we're going to go to the Microsoft show, now we're going to go to the Sony show, hi, how are you? This was like, I'm here with people that care about our product, and we care about these people too. And
yeah.
You could tell he was like a little emotional.
Well, and top of show, like, he was crying. He was tearing up. That was great.
Yeah.
Like, it was great to see that kind of genuine emotion out of a CEO. They cared about being there. They wanted to be there. And then Todd Howard happened. And that guy, man, that guy is so badass that I don't even know. Like, he walks out, just being Todd, owning everything, no nerves, chill as, just crushing it.
Also drops an F-bomb on stage.
Right, well, and we're going to talk about that in a second, because that right there, the annals of E3 history, we're going to get there in a minute, because that moment deserves being built up. So Todd Howard came out and was a badass, and then talked about Fallout 4 for, like, I don't know, 45 minutes. Like, I don't know how long they were talking, but it was a long time. So, first of all, confirmed. Your character creation and the beginning of the title take place before
the bombs.
The fall. Yeah. Like, you are there, you build a male or female character. You have the option to play either one, so that's flying in the face of the, quote, Bethesda employee, unquote, who left. So you can play as both. You get to design your baby. Your baby. Either character. You play through the fall, and then that character wakes up 200 years later.
Right.
Somehow.
As the sole survivor
of Vault 111. So, somehow you live 200 years. We're assuming cryonics of some variety. So, in addition to that, I mean, confirmed something that we had kind of already confirmed. It does take place in Boston. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will be in Boston. Not that was a secret from the first trailer, but still. They then unleashed this mini game called Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter is on iOS right now, so that burns for the Android people. But
I'll just steal your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Presumably, everyone will get it eventually. But so Fallout Shelter is going to be on iOS right now, post show. So you can jump on that. But that's not the really exciting thing. Seriously, that's not the really exciting thing about mobile integration. I don't even know how to start this.
I mean, what I used to review collector's editions for this website.
Yeah.
I've seen my fair share of them. I've enjoyed some of them, but this is the first one where
I have Alduin. He's right. He's back there. I have Alduin. He's a dragon.
This is the first one where you get to actually use it, really, because it's a wearable Pip-Boy that you can insert your phone into and use the second screen feature.
What did you do? We just had this conversation like a couple of days ago. I was done with collector's editions. I was done. I didn't want them anymore. I've given away all of my Halo 3, all of my Gears of War. I've given away every collector's edition except Alduin because, let's be fucking real, I play D&D and he's going to be a dragon in D&D one day. That's the reason I have that. And also because it's Skyrim and that would be hard to do. But every collector's edition comes with a wearable Pip-Boy you can stick your phone into with a companion app. So here, this is now. I'm about to do this. So, E3. I've been following E3 since I was very small, and awesome things have happened at E3. But Todd Howard just won E3. This is how. Okay, so this little dude, being a badass, just walking around the stage, all just head down, being cool, being super cool, says, and I quote, okay, and context, wearable Pip-Boy with a cell phone with a companion app that allows a second screen experience. And I quote, as far as second screen experiences go, I just think that they're stupid gimmicks. But as stupid gimmicks go, this is the best fucking one. Drop the F-bomb like a champ. Like a fucking champ. And he's right.
Yeah. No,
okay, so you're wearing a Pip-Boy with your cell phone in it, playing the game. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop.
And also, can we just talk about the new Pip-Boy in the game, where you can play games in the game,
or you can play games on your smartphone in your Pip-Boy on a second screen experience on your.
I haven't been excited about a collector's edition in a while. It's usually, oh, that's neat, I want that. No, this is, I will own this.
Yeah.
I will wear it.
While playing the game.
Might even go out in public wearing it and not be afraid.
I don't know about that. But
yeah,
I don't even know what to say about that. It is a brilliant marketing idea. It is a collector's edition that finally has a reason to exist. And I say that as someone that's bought a lot of collector's editions. But there's a reason for it. There's a compelling gameplay reason for this to exist. There's an immersion level. On top of that, it was delivered perfectly on game set fucking match Bethesda. I don't know if we really need to cover the rest of E3.
I think we need to recover from this press conference. Maybe watch it a couple
I'm really glad that it's the only one tonight.
Yeah, no.
I'm really glad that we have from now until tomorrow at noon to process, because first of all, I need to absorb that, and then second of all, I have to regain some sort of journalistic neutrality. Because I just don't care about the rest of E3. After that, I don't care. There's nobody can do anything that can make me care as much about anything as Bethesda just did. And that wasn't even the end of the presentation. So there's a massive crafting system for all of your weapons and all of your armor. You can anything you pick up, you can use as a crafted item.
It said 50 guns, 50 weapons, and then 700 plus modifications you can do.
700 plus modifications for 50 weapons. I have a calculator on my phone, but my phone is probably going to be busy. I could pull it out, but what would happen if I pulled it out is I would download Fallout Shelter. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
So, massive customization of armor and weapons, which is going to eat up more time than the game already was. And then there's a base building system where you can take one of a few designated areas around there, build anything you want, design anything you want, decorate it any way you want, build defenses, build power generators and shields.
And terminals that function with it.
And nuke traps. And just what they basically did was they took everything that was awesome about Fallout, and then they took a lot of things from a lot of other games, and then they stuck it in there. And I just don't want to... I mean, seriously, if Battlefront weren't coming out this holiday, Fallout would be all I would play. And as it stands right now, what's going to happen is I'm going to play Battlefront until I'm sick, and then I'm going to play Fallout until I'm a different kind of sick. And
or until you're dead.
Seriously, I thought... What year was it? I thought that 2012 was going to be, like, it. Like, I thought that was going to be the last, like, great year of gaming. I thought that was going to be the pinnacle. And...
Well, and
I can't... seriously, I am so good with words, and I have nothing to say.
And for me, it was... I had this mindset of, I think I know what the new Fallout's going to be. You know what I mean? You kind of like, all right, let's see, you know...
Yeah,
How usually they go from, like, with Elder Scrolls. You're like, all right, Morrowind to Oblivion to this. To, you know, Skyrim. And then, you know, with Fallout, you're like, all right, well, they didn't do New Vegas, but they'd probably want to take some things from that. And
yeah, there's some like, ammo customization.
So in your mind, you're like, okay, I think I know what this new one's going to be like, what's going to play. And then they're like, no, here you go. This is what you wanted, and you didn't even know it yet.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm Todd Howard. That's really what that was.
And, yeah, and I've never seen anyone drop a mic like that in my life. Like, I don't have anything, like, super coherent to say other than the fact that Todd Howard is quite clearly the most wildly charismatic studio lead ever. And, without trying.
And he's confident in his product. You can tell.
Yeah,
like,
and
because
why would you not be?
Yeah, like, you wouldn't be that calm if you didn't think, you know what, we did our best. We know it. I mean, they're not going to be super flashy about it, but there's a level of just, this is what we're going to give you. And
yeah. So we're looking at Fallout 4 for November the 10th of 2015. They announced that Doom will be launching in spring 2016. Dishonored, given the lack of date, will almost certainly be
next year.
2016. We don't really need to talk about anything else because you have Doom, which looks like quite clearly the most visceral shooter.
And I think the new benchmark game.
Yeah. I mean, visually.
Yeah.
Anyway. Because id Tech 6. id Tech 6? We didn't... What?
We got a taste of 5, and then they gave us 6.
Yeah, they were like, did you like 5? You rack it to 5? We give you the 6. You rack it to better. Fallout 4, which looks... Fallout 4. Just Fallout 4. We have it. It's coming out this year, and it looks insane. Dishonored 2. So... Between those 3 games, if they don't have Game of the Year for 2015 and 2016 locked down, they at least have the best possible argument for it out of any publishing studio I've seen. I can't imagine anyone, not EA, though they probably have the second best shot. Definitely not Activision, because Ubisoft, which with there's some compelling things like The Division, maybe, I don't know. Square. Nobody has a shot after this. We could call it tonight. We could straight up call it. We're not, because that's the level of journalistic integrity that we bring here at Pixelated Geek. But
I think we really want to scream about Fallout.
But I think and I'm gonna go get some shirts screen printed. E3 2015 # Todd Howard, because did you see it? Okay, so yeah, we're at the point where we're
we need to talk about the
mobile
game.
We do. What mobile game?
The Fallout Overseer game.
No, we did that.
We did?
We did that. Okay. We talked about the Fallout Shelter.
That's right.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that already. That's what this has done to us. That's where we are right now. So, recap. Doom. I keep wanting to call it Doom 4, but it's not.
It's Doom.
It's Doom. Doom spring 2016. Looks absolutely amazing and brutal in the id Tech 6 engine. Dishonored 2 will be amazing whenever it comes out. 2 playable characters, including a female protagonist, which is a big deal recently. Battlecry, nobody cares. ESO, it still exists. Elder Scrolls Legends, it's a CCG, and it's probably going to be really, really great. But it's really hard to care when Fallout 4 is happening this year. And it's happening the 10th of November 2015. It has a ton of customization. It has base building. It has a companion app that you can put in your Pip-Boy.
It has a dog.
It has a dog.
Who you can build a doghouse for.
I want you to listen to me right now. I'm talking to you, Bethesda. Don't you kill that dog. Don't you kill that dog. We'll come after you. So, on the whole, Bethesda's press conference was best of show.
Yeah.
We're going to call that right now. It was best of show.
Most memorable in years.
Yeah. Just amazing work. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am James Huneycutt for Pixelated Geek. This is
JJ Crass.
And we will see you guys
tomorrow
at 12:30. All right. Thanks. Bye.